Friends, welcome back to Nikki T Live. Today, working on work. Those that know me, I do work in open source, so pretty much nothing to hide. So, get to work out in the open, which I appreciate and have fun doing. So, yeah, so I work at a company called OpenSauced. If you want to check it out, opensauced.pizza. And basically, going to be working on some components today. So, let me bring us over to pairing view, which I always say pairing view, but it's just me when it's just me. So, I don't know what you call a single pair, half a pair, who knows. Anyways, doesn't really matter. I got to do a bit of cleanup here, but yeah, I popped this out. Gonna be hanging with Peter. I'm not positive how I pronounce his last name. I'm gonna ask him when I meet him, but I think it's Mabanugo. We're gonna be looking at building reliable systems with Temporal. So that's temporal.io. So pretty excited about that. I don't know that much about it, you know, always good to get thrown into the uncomfortable zone, as they say. That's how you grow. All right, cool. Let's close that for now. And let's come over here. And so basically, I'm working on some components. Let me start up Storybook here. NR is just my alias for npm run. And we're going to start Storybook. That's going to open up here. And I'll zoom this in for the folks in the nosebleed sections. So essentially, I started working on this particular component. Storybook's just building, but give it a sec. Speaking of which, I gotta upgrade us to Storybook 8, but that's for another day. So essentially, there's this drawer component that I put together yesterday. And when I say I put together yesterday, it's using shadcn. They have a drawer component, so that's what this is. I just added slight styling based on what the product designer wanted. You can have a close button here, but it's not required. So if we come down here, so you can do open with it. You can also open and then you click out and it closes. And this all comes out of the box with the shadcn component. But here there's just no close button. That's an option too. Um, Anyways, that's that. But the thing is, if we come to the app, all right, let's go to, yeah, sure, here. Let me zoom this in. And so like, if we come in here and we can add repositories, whoops, you get this modal. I made a wizard component, but it's essentially floating in a modal. And it is responsive to some degree, like, but okay, this is a bad example because this one I actually made to work. But even with this, the the a card would make more sense here on mobile because like this is just a squished up uh essentially modal now, which doesn't look that great. So like the drawer component would make more sense there. So essentially what I'm gonna do is there's a couple things. I'm going to create a new dialogue component, and the new dialogue component's going to use what is here right now, like not the contents, but the shell of it. And basically, if you were on a smaller screen, it'll render a drawer component that I just showed you, or if you're on a larger screen or whatever we deem a good size to start showing modals, then it should just show an actual modal. And I'm wrapping this all into one component just for uh, other devs on the team and external contributors. So like if they do have to use this, they can just say, I'm using the dialogue. They don't have to worry about like, okay, oh, hey, how's it going, Arvin? Nice, thanks for dropping by. Um, yeah, like I was just saying, I don't know when you popped in there, but just working on some components. Um, but essentially I want to wrap it into one dialogue component, and then there'll be like a media query to check which one to render. Like we have a use media query hook. I can't remember if I put that in place. I did that at Dev 2, but uh, they maybe somebody else put it from there. I think I might have mentioned somebody to just copy it from there, but and I copied it from somewhere to begin with anyway. So there's a cool site actually. I think it's still useful if you're using hooks. If you go to usehooks.com and basically you just get a whole set of hooks you can use. So let me just pop that. Let's pop it in the chat for anybody interested. And let's see here. Let's pop it there. Pop it like it's hot. I know that's not what they say, but whatever. Um, cool. Oh, let me just go to. I'm streaming to LinkedIn as well, and I'm just gonna. I couldn't. I couldn't respond to my own chat recently, and then uh, basically they just told me to log out and log back in. Which, as a developer, I didn't try that honestly because I was just like, okay, now it's telling me it failed to post my comment again. So there seems to be like a logged in, logged out issue. I think I'm trying to see what the pattern here is for LinkedIn, but it looks like if I go live, I need to sign out and then sign back in maybe. Anyways, just gonna sign back in there. You can't see it at the moment, but and just let me sign back into LinkedIn. Okay, let me see if I can go actually post to my own thing now. Nope, failed to post comment. Okay. All right. Well, if you're listening on LinkedIn, if you do comment, I will see it, but I can't reply again, and I'm gonna have to let me try clearing my whole cache again. That's what they said to do last time, but it's kind of annoying if I have to do this every time. All right, cool. So let's sign back in. Okay. Yes. I bet you it'll work now, but nope, still failed to post. Interesting. All right, well, I'm not going to dwell on it too much because, it's just I got better things to do. All right. Anyways, it's usehooks.com if you're on LinkedIn. Okay. So, let's come back here. Okay. Oh yeah, no problem, Arvin. I can't remember. Are you? I haven't spoken to you too much. I know you're from Virtual Coffee, but do you do mainly full stack, back end, or front end? I can't remember, or I actually just don't know what you do. Okay, there we go. Um, okay, so let's just close this. So, like I said, we're gonna create a dialog component. So there's two parts. There's the drawer component that I just showed you there. That's gonna be the option when it's a smaller screen, and then there's going to be the modal. And so the first thing I need to do is I actually need to refactor or create a new, well, I'm going to create the new dialog component basically. So I created a new branch already. That's good. Let's put this over here. And I'll zoom in one more time for people in the back there. Okay, cool. We can hide this for now for real estate. And essentially, yeah. So I'm going to create a dialog component in here. So, or actually, should this go under primitives? Yeah, we can do that. New file, dialog, primitives. Essentially, what the dialog primitives are going to be is, it might just be this actually. Um, okay. This seems to have most of this stuff. Okay, so this is we already have it. So you know what I'm gonna do is I'm going to rename this to dialog primitives, and let's come back. Yeah, that's normal. Oh, actually, you know what? I will undo that because that will get phased out at some point. That's the existing one, so I'm just gonna leave it as is. And just give me 1 sec. I gotta take off my sweater because I'm dying here. So just give me 2 seconds. All right, that's better. My uh, my core temperature was going off the charts there. So okay, so we've got this dialogue. Okay, I'm not gonna move it for now. So I'm just gonna whoops, gonna copy this just for the sake of things here. Okay, and all right, you know what? Let's just leave it for now. I'll keep I'll keep the old. I'll basically just pull out stuff out of the existing one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come into, where is it? Where's my shared stuff? There's a bit of other work here that's like kind of ongoing. So we have this breakdown of things in here where it says like molecules, organisms, etc. And these are concepts from Atomic CSS, but um, it doesn't make sense in the context of the components folder, and it kind of threw me off when I first started working at OpenSauce. So we're slowly pulling out stuff there. So like we're putting it more based on like, you know, common stuff. So like I created a graphs folder where graphs are going. The recent workspaces stuff that we did, which is a new feature, I've put a workspaces folder under components. So that's kind of where we're going. And shared is really just like what it kind of implies, you know. Basically, everything that's shared. It's not specific. Hey, how's it going, Idrith? Thanks for hopping in. Okay, so we've got that drawer component, and I'm gonna create the dialog component. So dialog.tsx. Okay, now I can close stuff here. And actually, let's create another file. Let's create dialog.stories. So this is we're using Storybook. Um, hey, how's it going, Chris? Okay, that's my first comment from X. So I'm actually just kind of curious uh, where I can see the comments. Okay, they're finally popping in. Okay. Nope, that's just my CEO saying what's up. Um, yeah, it's odd. I don't know where I can respond to X comments on the stream. So if somebody knows, like I'm not even seeing my stream popping up here. Maybe it only shows up on mobile. But anyways, thanks for hanging in there, Chris. And looks like my mutual Delamora has been working out there. So anyways, cool. So there's nothing in here right now, and we'll get to the stories in a sec. I'll basically copy what I have here, and I'm gonna zoom this down one actually. Okay, so essentially we want stories here, and we'll figure out what to add in here after. If you haven't used Storybook, it's a great way for building components. Um, in the past, you would typically be building out a component like right in the app, and that's not really practical because it. Yeah, okay, come on over on Twitch. I'd really love to know how you can comment to or reply to people on X, but yeah, head on over to Twitch if you wanna. Cool, cool, cool. Uh, Oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. What's the bug you're working on? Or sorry, missing error message. Sorry. Okay, so this should be dialogue, and this will be dialogue. This will be coming from dialogue, and this is dialogue. Now, this story is not going to work at the moment. It's gonna probably crash there, but essentially, okay, that's this is the new dialog. So we just want to say export const dialog. There we go. Cool. And then we'll take some props, which will be, well, let's just start off with this. So, and this is how I typically build out things. So, hey, how's it going, Catalan? Thanks for hanging. It's been, we still haven't chatted in person or on a stream. We should do a stream at some point if you're up for it. Um, yeah. If you aren't giving Catalan a follow on Twitch already, go do that right now. Catalan's working at a company called Document, I think that's how you pronounce it. It's an open source alternative to what's that sign? DocuSign. Yeah, so sounds like an interesting project. So definitely check that out if your company requires like digital signatures, which a lot people do. Because I know in the past, pretty much whenever I've had signed documents, it's come through DocuSign. So I'm actually very curious about documents. So like I was saying, Catalan, because you just hopped in, I'm building out some components here right now. So essentially we have a drawer component, and this is for mobile experiences. But we also have like a modal for like if you're on a larger screen. And so I'm gonna refactor our existing dialogue component. I'm gonna create a new one first just so I don't break existing stuff. Um, well, I'm sure it's cool because you work there too, Catalan. Um, but yeah, that's cool. You're working in open source. I've been, well, like you know, I've been working in open source professionally since 2020, and oh, cool. Thanks for gifting those, Catalan. Thank you very much. Um, yeah, I've been working professionally in open source since January 2020. I started working at Dev2 in January 2020, and thanks for the follow, LL Cool Chris. I don't know if that's a reference to LL Cool J, but if it is, Mama said knock you out. Um, cool. Oh, hey, thanks, Idrin. Thanks for the subscription. Um, but yeah, basically, we have a dialogue component right now, but whenever you go to use it, basically you have to pull in all the parts of the dialogue. So here's the existing dialogue primitives. This is stuff that comes from shadcn. This is not something we just like whipped up. And all these primitives they work really well, but what I noticed in the code base is like anytime somebody goes to create a dialogue, they have to pull in all of these pieces. And really what it should be is just a few props. So like the drawer component I made, which is using a shadcn. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow, Techial. Cool. Yeah, so essentially I'm using for the drawer component, it is shadcn as well, but I'm simplifying this, by just wrapping it all into one component, and then you pass in the title, the description, the children, which are basically the content, and we have an option to show or not show a close button. This is what my product designer asked for. There's also, for anybody who hopefully cares about accessibility, the color contrast on the orange on the close button isn't great right now. I mentioned that before, but wow, thanks for all the follows. It's getting busy in here. Sorry, only on my second coffee for the morning, so. uh, so essentially, you just basically want to say I have a drawer component and I just pass in these props, and I want to do the same thing for the dialogue, because let me try and find an example of the dialogue right now. Let's see here. Okay, so here's a perfect example. And so when somebody wants to create a new dialogue in the app, they have to import the dialogue component, the dialogue content, the header, the title, the description, and all of that shouldn't really be exposed. Oh, hey, cool. Thanks, Catalin. Appreciate that. Yeah, so essentially every time somebody goes to create a dialogue in the app right now, they have to import all these components. And to me, that doesn't make any sense. It also visually can create inconsistencies, because like if somebody says, this is how I want, not the text, but like if they say, I want to change the style of the description or the title, all of a sudden you end up with inconsistencies in the app. So essentially we want to have all these things in the actual component. So I'm actually just gonna copy this whole thing out here. There's a lot of stuff in here which I'm gonna delete, but I'm just trying to find the end of the dialog component. Okay, there's a lot in here. Okay, so uh, let's go to the new dialog, and well, actually, let's show. I've got that copied, but we've got the dialog here. We got dialog stories. This should be dialog. Actually, you know what? Let's just do the good old Visual Studio. Can multi-select dialog. So now if we come over here, we have this dialog component, and all it is showing is dialog, which makes sense because that's all I put in here right now. So if I say YOLO, you're gonna see, boom, it's gonna update there. And this is really what I like about building out in something like Storybook. There are other alternatives. I've been using Storybook for a while, and I don't know if it's the industry standard for front end for building out components, but it's pretty solid. I know Playwright, you can do component testing, but I don't know if you can do building out components in Playwright. I don't think so, but correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. But essentially, we've got all this here, so I'm gonna paste in everything I just had there. Now, obviously, there's a lot of stuff in here which we don't need. But let's start off. So I'm gonna use just okay. Actually, first thing I need to do is, we'll fix that one after, but so let's pull in dialog content from components. I'm just using the import features from VS Code here. And let's pull in this, the title, whoops, wrong one, components, and then the description. From there, okay, so we're all good there. So we'll clean that up in a second. Dialog header. Okay, where's the content? Dialog content. Yeah, it's yeah, I've been doing mainly front end development. Well, when I was working at Netlify prior to OpenSauced, it was more like CLI work and like build stuff for, because like basically I was working on the frameworks team at Netlify, so had to you know, make sure like whatever framework you're deploying was working. So we worked on like adapters and stuff. But um, but yeah, yeah, I don't know. Like if I was doing back end only, maybe I'd be in something else. I don't know. Hey, Francesco, how's it going? Um, I've been meaning to catch your Rush streams. I've just been super busy, but I've got to catch up on the back catalog of it, I think. It's because I know you've been doing those pretty consistently, and also congrats. I think did you hit 100,000 subscribers recently on YouTube? I think I saw you tweet that out. Um, if you didn't for some reason, I'm sure you'll get to it. Plan today, Francesco, is, yeah. So, okay, yeah. So everybody, give some claps for Francesco because he broke 100,000 on YouTube. So I'm gonna throw you some claps there. Um, yeah. So what we're working on today, Francesco, is so I'm working on my work, so OpenSauced, and I'm working on some components. Thanks for the follow, Francesco. Um, so we have a drawer component that I'm working on as well. So like if we come over here, so this opens up and you can close it. And this is great for the mobile experiences, but we currently in the application, we have modals for a lot of things, and they work well when you're on a larger screen, but as soon as you're on mobile, it's not that great of an experience, and sometimes the modals actually go outside of the viewport because the content is too large. So the what I'm going to be doing is, so there's the drawer component here, and I'm refactoring a new dialog component, and then essentially we're going to have this main dialogue, so developers or external contributors to the project, if they need a dialogue, they don't have to worry about, okay, is this mobile or is this like a larger screen? The component will just handle that. So I've basically pasted in an existing modal that I found in the application, and I'm just there's a lot of stuff in here I got to take out. I'm just trying to find the dialog content. Dialog close button, sure. Okay, that's all in the dialog content. Okay, whoops. Oh, okay, I see. Okay. So there's that. And hey, Tekiao. Oh, you're saying yo to Francesca. Oh, thanks, Catalin. You're too kind. Yeah, it's funny. It's like I really enjoy streaming. I I typically stream with a guest, Francesco or Catalin. If you're ever up to chatting, love to chat Rust or daily.dev or Documento. But yeah, I typically stream with guests on Mondays, sometimes on Fridays too. But like I was mentioning, because my work's all open source, I was streaming my open source work too. But then I was on vacation recently, and I got really busy at work, so just didn't end up. Um, yeah, and I hear what you're saying, Catalin. It's honestly, it's it's not as bad as you think it is. It's and the thing about live streaming that I like is compared to say like YouTube content. Like YouTube content is typically polished. Somebody's doing a tutorial or something, and they've edited it, and like it looks perfect. When you live stream, it's not perfect. Obviously, things don't always go right, but it's not a bad thing when things don't go right. It's good for people to see the struggles too, I think, but also, at least in my experience, I think people just expect it not to be perfect, and it's that's the main reason why I stream. It's also because, at least right now, I don't have enough time in the day to create like polished YouTube content. It's something I'd like to do, but just time wise, I don't have time at the moment. So streaming is kind of low effort for me, in the sense that, like, I mean, I have a lot of stuff automated now. Like I have a stream deck, I have screens that change and stuff. um, oh, cool. Thanks, Idrin. Um, but yeah, I'd say just, hop on, and like, if you're a little nervous, oh yeah, it's true. I will admit I'm typically pretty extroverted, so like I'm the kind of person that can walk into a crowd at a conference and say like, "Hey, what's up?" Even if I don't know the people. But if you're streaming with people or if you're on your own, I mean, sure, you might not know the people in the chat, but um, I guess what I'm saying is just try it. It's not as terrible as you think, and it's the kind of or as it's not as scary as you think. Not terrible, as that's a bad way of framing it, but and like anything, you just start doing it. Um, yeah, exactly. Like I know some people like that are introverted or ambivert, and like uh, they struggle, but they still do it. I think if you're introverted, at least from the people I've spoken to, it's kind of draining sometimes. But anyways, if you're ever down to doing it, or like a casual chat, that's a good way to start it. Sarah Shook, who I think she started streaming recently, and she's just been doing conversations. She's also been doing a bit of CSS and stuff. um, oh, I see what you mean. Gotcha. Okay, Catalan. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I guess the way I'd say easing into that is maybe stream with people or friends you're with. If like I said, happy to stream with you. I know we've never met, but you seem like a cool dude, so would be happy to just do like an informal chat or something to start off. But you know. But again, no pressure, Do what's good for you. Like I said, with the YouTube content that I'd love to do, I've got other things to do. Like last night, Wednesdays I do swimming lessons, so there's that. I snowboard in the winter. I work out in the mornings typically. I've got an arm injury at the moment, so that's kind of thrown me back a bit. But cool, cool. Yeah, sounds good. Like I said, no pressure, Catalin. Um, okay, so if we get back here, so I took what I found in the app and basically pulled it into here, and I took out all the specific stuff, which is like content for that particular use case, because we don't want to show that. So what we're gonna need here is children as a prop that we're passing in. So we're gonna come here, and this is all in TypeScript. So we're gonna do children. We also need the same, actually, pretty much the same props as this. Let's put this here, and we'll call this dialog props. Cool. Just gonna check the other platforms. Hey, oh, thank you, Savvy Sankit over on YouTube. That's kind words. Okay, I just need to check Twitter real quick. See what the homies are. Oh, see, yeah, thank you for sharing the love there. Cool. All right. Yeah, thanks for the. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Hey, am I okay? I wasn't giving you a follow. Krish can give you a follow. Cool, cool. Just gave you a follow on Twitter. No need to follow back, but all right. Okay, so Idrinth is saying, I noticed that the currently interfaces in the same file lower my test coverage by error. Okay, yeah. Yeah, the TypeScript doesn't replace testing, but it removes a whole category of issues. Um, I'm assuming that's what you're referring to. Okay, so let's pop in all these things here. So we have title, description, we have children already. Uh, we do need a trigger, I believe. I'll look at that after. Uh, I'll just comment these ones out for now. We've got these two. I'm just going to comment that out for a second. Let's just put dialogue. Children elements with some of the following properties. Didn't I put children in? It's there. So, okay, dialogue header. So here we're going to change this to just title. Oh, and then description. And yeah, this is typically how I build out components. In this particular case, I copy pasted something. Okay, yeah, API bench at the moment. Yeah. Yeah, we at OpenSauced for our API, we're using Nest.js. I don't know if it's the best option out there, but it's been working pretty well for us. It uses TypeScript decorators as well, which are super helpful. Hey, Chrissy, how you doing? We're just I'm just working on some components for OpenSauced, if you're wondering, and oh, I just saw Francesco said, "Nikki T Online is live. Come watch with me. Spam the chat with here from Catalan." Thank you for sending some love my way. Um, the tool is a testing tool. It's also a very different thing. Nest could be tested with it though. Okay. Yeah. Nest.js has like a section on testing as well. Um, we have some tests in there right now, but uh, from what I saw and like I discussed with the team, a lot of the stuff it's testing is just mocks that are in the test, which aren't really valuable. So we're revisiting that. But anyways, um, okay. Type children is missing the following properties from dialog props. Children, React node, everything looks good there. What's going on here? Why didn't it not like that? Let's see here. Hold on a sec. Yeah, I know it's missing those. That's fine. So let's just say true for now, and then we'll just give a random thing for now, just so this can work. Open. Okay, I'll worry about those in a second. Okay, so we got the title. And then we've got down here, we've got the description, like I said. Okay, on click set open and edit false. Okay. Okay, so it's expecting those props. Okay, sure. Let's just do this. Set open edit. And then we'll add it here and we'll just say set open edit and we'll give it a default value. And we'll add this as a prop and GitHub Copilot should kick in here. Yes, thank you. Open. Cool. That's good there. That's good there. What's it complaining about here? Why does it not like? Let's go to the dialog props and see. Oh, I know what's going on. Okay, yeah. So this is what I meant to do. So we need to add this, the dialog, and we're going to call it internal dialog because my component is actually called dialog. So that's what I meant to do. And that's why I'm getting these weird errors. So if we do this, now we're good. Okay. So now if we come over here, this should fail or it might give an error because don't know what it's doing here. Let me restart Storybook. Cool. All right, Storybook's just starting up again. Let's come here to the dialog. It should give an error about props missing, or maybe it'll just crash. We'll see. Again, I gotta update us to Storybook 8, but I'll get on that at some point. Okay, it built it. Okay, so the dialogue looks terrible right now, but it's built. Okay, and this is okay. So this is where like a starting point. Okay, so we've got the drawer stories, we've got the dialogue stories. So let's add some props in here. So we're gonna say title and welcome to the dialogue. Okay, it's copying what I did from my drawer story. So if I save this, you're gonna see the component update. Welcome to the dialogue. Okay, perfect. We got the close button, and if I click here, okay, it's not doing anything because I just have a function that does nothing at the moment. Okay, that's good. And then what else did we need? Children, yeah. Okay, so it's copying the same thing that I did. Thank you, Copilot. All right, so you see, we got the semblance of a dialogue here now, and that's good. Okay, let's go back to the chat here. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I'm curious about this API bench. I'd have to look at it. Okay, so the dialogues here right now. Okay, so we got two things here now. So we got the drawer, boom, like that, and then we got the dialogue, which looks squished. And this is actually a perfect reason to. That's not what I want to do. There we go. If I put the sidebar back in, you see how it's squished like that. This is why like the drawer makes more sense. And you know, so let's come back here. So we got both now, and essentially I want to have it show one or the other. So let's come back to the dialogue. Okay, and I also just got to see, let me close this to get some real estate. So like I was saying, the nice thing here now is if you want to use a dialogue, this is all wrapped in this new dialogue component instead of every time you create one you have to pull in all these things. And this will help with consistency, like I said. Okay, this I'm gonna remove. It's not necessary because that is actually if we come to globals.css, font normal is actually the default size if we look here. So there's no reason to set it. So let's come back to dialogue. This one, sorry. So we don't need that. That's good there. The title. Okay, class name, content. So we're just giving some padding around it, which makes sense. I'm wondering if it's a smaller screen. So if we do medium like that, And well, actually, this is only going to show up when it's a smaller screen. So let's do that. I just want to look for dialogue content and I want to see because there's a trigger to open it. Okay, yeah. So, okay, this is okay, this is what does it. Okay, got it. Set is dialogue open is open. Okay, yeah. So that okay, the API is a little different because with the drawer component, you just have a trigger that when you click it, it just opens. So there's that too. Okay, so there's a slight difference, but let's see, how could we handle that? Is I guess I guess that could be the same potentially. So if we come back here, okay, so open and closed. Okay, so let's remove the default here. Uh, and you know what? Let's maybe call this on open change set open. Uh, you know what? I'm gonna just call it the same thing on open change. So just gonna use TypeScript, rename that. Uh, it always does that. There's a setting to avoid it to just aliasing it, but I gotta figure out what that is. Okay, and let's put that to there. Okay, that's just a little cleaner, and then we'll just say open, and we'll just say open, and then we'll add open here. Whoops. Open. Why do I keep having trouble? There we go. And then let's add open. Okay. Now, okay, on open change. Okay. And that works. And then now it's not showing up obviously, but if we set this to true, it should open automatically. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that works. That's good. Cool. Let me check something else here. All right. So yeah, so the main difference here is, so if we go back to the drawer component, it always sounds funny to say that drawer component. Now I'm doubting myself. So essentially with the drawer component, there's a trigger and this is what opens it. So if we come to here, for example, the open button here, that's the trigger. Yeah, no, thanks. Thanks for popping by, Catalin. Appreciate it. And yeah, we'll chat. We'll chat later. Cool. Have a great day or great end of. Let's see. You're in Eastern Europe, I think. So yeah, it's closer to your end of your day. So enjoy the rest of your end of day, I guess. Later. Yeah. So the button is the trigger, and I wonder if there's. I guess we could have. Just wondering how to handle the difference here. Let me just see if there's other things you can do with it. Shad CN, drawer. Let's go here. Okay, so yeah, open drawer, boom. The code, drawer close. Uh, actually, that's not what I want. About install usage. Okay, so it does seem to be a trigger only. But you know what? I can probably do that with the open and close of the other thing, maybe. We'll see. Okay. bring this back over here, or we can do halvesies. Let's close that. Um, okay, so let's add in our story. I'll just make this bigger for a sec. So this is our dialogue story, and we need a decorator. And okay, so decorator is something that wraps around a storybook story, and you can use this to do certain things. And so here it gets the story. I'm not sure if I can pass the props though, but let's see here. But just to show you that this is actually a decorator and wrapping around something. So yo, 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 yo. So I'm gonna save that, and it's not gonna show up on the drawer one, but if we come to the default here, uh, is it here? Oh yeah, it is wrapping around it, but it's in behind. So like for example, if I take this off, we should see yo 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 in there. Yeah. So so basically it's sometimes you need stuff to wrap around a storybook story just so you can do certain things. And I'm wondering if you can pass in props. I haven't used the decorators as much lately, like because they have a newer format. But let's go take a peek at that. So here's the dialogue stories, and let's see here. Set. Let's see. Props maybe. Yeah, that doesn't exist. I know, but so we can make this a component. And then, so we can say like return, or you know what? Let's just try this first. We'll just set open true. Open. I don't know if this is gonna work, but we'll see. Okay, no, that doesn't kick in. Um, let's look up storybook story. Let's go to the definition. So, okay, that's not helpful. Yeah. Let's just let's go on a side quest, storybook decorators. All right. Just because these have been revamped over the years. So, okay, so we got that and this story context for mocking. Okay, provider, sure. Um, okay, the second argument to a decorator function is the story context. Okay, so the args, storybook archetypes allow you to customize and fine tune your storybook args. So yeah, this is what I want to see. So I want to pass stuff to it. So let's see here. Let me zoom this in a bit. Where's args? Args. Okay, this args. You can use some args in your decorators and drop them in the story implementation of itself. Storybook API hooks use args. Okay, let's try this. Or actually, wait, hooks, args. Okay, let's just try the second argument here. So, story, and then args. Okay, let's try this. Args, and let's do, oh, okay, so because of TypeScript, it's able to infer what's there. So args open equals true. That should work, I think. Okay, yeah, whoops. Got to get rid of this. Come back here. Okay, so that's not working. Args open. Let's try this. Args. Or wait. Args. equals args. Cannot find name args. It's coming in there. Okay, let's just try this. Open. Okay, this will work. Open true. We don't need this. So, okay, I think I know how to do the decorator now. So this is an object. So we gotta wrap it in there. Okay, Boolean. Okay, so now if we come back here, it's gonna open up the dialog. Okay. Okay, I see what's happening here. We're passing in all, we have to pass in all the args here. Okay, that's okay. Because this works better actually. So essentially, let's do this. I guess we don't need it here. And I'm just gonna create an object, const default args equals, not ours, args. Let's paste that. Okay, cool. And this should be story dot args. Just setting the type here, just so we get some nice type goodness. And then in here, this is going to be a couple things. It's going to be, we'll start off with this. We're just going to spread the existing default args. And I'm also going to add open and true. So now if we come back here, we're going to get all the content and stuff too. Maybe I did something wonky there. No, it's working. So we get all that stuff now. So because I'm using the decorator, that's just how I need to load the args. That's okay. All right. So that's good. So now the reason why I want to have this this open being passed in and set open is this. So on open change. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a button here now. This is coming from our project, open, and then on click. And then we're gonna say, we need to actually return here. And there, whoops, here, return that JSX. Okay, there we go. Clean that up a bit. Okay, now this is essentially, this decorator is essentially a component. So we're gonna do yeah, exactly. This is what I want. Copilot coming in for the win. Okay, there we go. And then on click, we're just gonna say this, set open to not open. So it basically just toggles. So now if we come here, okay, yeah, on open change isn't set. Let's just remove that temporarily. So this is gonna open, reload, and now I have this open button, and this allows me to have the modal pop open. So we do need to set the on open change, and then so on open change is essentially going to be this. Yeah, that's exactly it. So here it's going to reload. We open there. There, that works. So we essentially have it working. So this is a good example of a this is a good example of a storybook decorator in use. So we have this component, but we need something to open and close the dialogue. So I created this decorator, and in the decorator, essentially it's just a React component. So I have some state in here, and then I'm basically wrapping the story. So this is the storybook story, and I'm wrapping it in with like a button that you see on the screen over here. And then I'm passing in the args is the props. So I have the default args, which is like just the content and the description and the title. And then we pass in the two props that it's expecting, open and open change. And these are props, so it's coming from parent state, which is a decorator. So whenever you toggle it, if we come back here, if I click open, then the open prop of the dialog is set to true, which is why it appears. And if I click out or click the close button, it closes because on open change fires, and it just sets the state back to closed. So that's a pretty cool use case of having a decorator, basically. Oh, thanks, Adrian. Yeah. Um, I will say I'm not a designer, so a lot of these things that I get, it's typically from the product designer or it's off the shelf components. But thank you. I'm not sure if this needs to be centered or not. I don't think so, but basically we have a working example of the dialogue, which is good. I just gotta check in on work. Just gotta check Slack here. All right. Okay, yeah. Cool. My coworker Brandon's just asking for something. Cool. Just gotta respond to my coworker Becca about something. Okay. Just checking one other thing. Okay, cool. All right, we're all good there in Workland. I mean, I'm doing work right now anyways, but just I'm on the East Coast in North America, and a couple of my coworkers are, well, Becca's on East Coast as well, and there's some others that are kind of more a little further west, but then there's like a bunch of people on the West Coast. So basically, whenever I start my day, I'm usually flying solo, or there's like well, Becca's online now, but usually it's just a couple of us in the morning, my time initially. Okay, so cool. I'm happy about this decorator. Um, the other thing I was gonna mention is has nothing to do with Storybook or or building out these components, but you see how my if I scroll and then I scroll up, you see how things start like the functions and stuff in VS Code, they just start locking, they stick at the top there. That's a setting in VS Code. I'm trying to remember what it is. Let's see. It's I find it handy. Where is it? Inlay files, search. I'm trying to remember what that feature is. Uh, I can't remember what that feature is called, but essentially I have it set to true. Let's see here. True, true. Wrap tabs, no. Uh, yes, I do want font ligatures. Why did I? Oh, I have. Oh, it's for specific things. There's a reason I did that, I guess. Um, yeah, where the heck is that? Maybe it's on by default now and you have to disable it. But I know initially it was a new feature and I enabled it. But it's kind of handy because like sometimes when you're in a file, you can just get lost in the code, you know? So anyways. Yeah, no, I do agree with you, Idrin, that functions should be small. I don't have a hard limit. I know some people say like 13 lines and stuff. But the thing is, when you're building out UI, it just can get big. I mean, you don't. It's not necessarily a terrible thing if a UI component is a little big, but the other thing to take into account is like the lines. Like, so we use Prettier in the project. So basically, this here, like which is about 10 lines, isn't necessarily 10 lines, right? You know, like this could actually be like this and like this, etc. If you know what I mean. Um, so I take the small functions with a line of with a grain of salt because like the formatters will typically blow up the size of the number of lines. which isn't really a reflection of it. But the ethos of what you're saying in general, yeah, smaller functions, because if you if you have a large function, that potentially means that there's a lot going on there, and maybe it's sharing responsibilities that it shouldn't need to. But so yeah, so I'm gonna save this, and you're gonna see it's gonna auto format back. So um, yeah, and in fact, we had to when I was working at Dev 2, we had I forget what code linting tool we had running in a GitHub action. But basically, we said something like the max lines was like 50 lines, and then at some point, because of prettier and with UI components, it was always giving the error that like the function is too big, and we just basically disabled it and just went, kind of like judgment call. So okay, so I'm happy with this decorator, and that's good. Okay, so that works properly. So boom. So I guess the only thing here now is I guess how to make them work together. Um, so there's a trigger which should just open it. Let's see here. Because like I was saying, so if we come to the drawer component, the button is the trigger. There's no props there like set open, sorry, on open change and open. So I'm just wondering what makes the most sense. Regardless, I think this dialogue's already in a better state than, because like if we look at, if I wanted, let's go back actually to where, let's find one of those dialogue components. So let's look for dialogue content and contributor highlight card. Okay, that's a good place to show it. Okay, so I'm gonna stop Storybook for a second here, and I'm gonna do nr, which is npm run. Gonna run the dev server. Let's close that, and let's bring this over. Let's go to localhost. Let me just go check the chat. Yeah, sharing responsibilities, and also yeah, in terms of functions for sure, Idrinth. The other thing too is like only pass in what you need, like typically compose things if you can, but also like I've seen stuff where it's like, okay, if I've got a function and like I don't know, I need to see if somebody's logged in or not, and there's a property on a user that says is logged in. I've seen in the past a lot, people pass in the whole user object, and then in the function they'll say user dot is logged in, which is completely unnecessary. You can just pass in like user dot is logged in, and the parameter to the function is just that is logged in. And this makes it easier to test things too, because then you don't have to mock this whole user object. You can just say is logged in, true or false, and you can write your test that way. So there's stuff like that too. Cool, cool, cool. Just gotta check chat again. Where are we at? Cool, cool. All right. Cool, that's all good. LinkedIn, I'm logged out again. All right. Okay, sign in. Okay, continue as Nikki T. Oh, yes, sure. All right. Yeah, it's weird streaming to LinkedIn right now because I can't comment on my own stream. I, I did what they said the other day where they said just clear the site data and like log out and then log back in, and that worked when I tried it the other day, but I tried it today and it didn't work. And I'm still not sure how you respond to X or Twitter comments during your feed. So it's anyways, to be discovered. Uh yeah. Well, the thing is, Idrinth, we learn from things, right? Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so we've got the app here, and let's go to highlights. So I'm on the smaller screen here, so let's go highlights. And then So we have, I'm gonna just copy the link directly. This is gonna load up an individual one and it's gonna show up in a modal here. And that's this modal here. So I'm actually curious of doing this. So let's do title and we're gonna give the title. Is that the right one? Contributor highlight card. Not sure if that's it. Is it? Edit. Let's actually just see if I'm in the right one. Hold on a sec here. I went silent there for a second. Okay, let's just, yeah, okay, that's not it. This is what I think it's this one. Let's go and edit one. What's going on? Okay, I'm not sure what's up. Anyways, I think that's, I changed something in the database on the local development environment, I think, but let's go back to the highlights here, and let's look for highlight page, workspace, input form, contributor highlight card. That should be it. Maybe there's more than one dialogue. Here, let's look for that. No, there's only the one. Oh, it's just a card. Okay, I see. Yeah, so it is the edit, maybe. Let's look for another one, actually. Let's go to highlight input form. Sure. Okay, so that's this one here. Okay, so highlight input form. Let's just say add a repo. No, that's not what we want. We want this one. I think this is it. Post a highlight. Yeah, so let's just double check here. Just making sure. Okay, why is it not updating? Should be it. Post a highlight. Am I looking at something different? Whoops. Here, let's do this. Post a highlight. Dialogue title. Okay, it's this one. No, that's where it was. Why is it not updating? Am I on beta or something? Oh, I'm on the actual app. That's why it's not reflecting. Okay. All right, so let's go to highlights, post a highlight, and now if I say like this, okay, yeah, we're in the right spot. Okay, so essentially, let's change this to dialogue and open is div focus, sure. And let's add title. And actually, let's do this. Let me close a bunch of things here. Which file am I in? I'm in this one. Cool. Okay, so there's the dialogue up here. Where'd you go, dialogue? Okay, so essentially we just need this. And this is coming from here instead. Shared. Dialogue. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So now if we look for this. Okay. So it's telling me I'm missing props now, which is expected. So let's check out here. And I'm just going to start pulling out stuff. So post a highlight. That's the title. And so this is using the new one. And this is just to show that we can just get rid of a lot of stuff. So there's no description. Oh, whoops, this shouldn't be in. That's just text. All right, dialog close button. We don't need that right now. Okay, let's see here. This is the content. So the content is essentially, okay, so this is something we could add, but I'm just gonna remove it for now. I think that might be there by default. Okay, so this, okay, I'm just gonna get rid of a bunch of stuff here. So essentially, this is the content, add repos, blah, blah, blah. If I come down to the bottom, man, there's a lot of stuff in here. Okay, and then we don't need dialogue content. Let's save that, and it's probably gonna complain dialogue close button is not defined. So dialogue close. Oh, there's another dialogue in here. Okay, all right. Maybe I went on a not so great refactoring journey, but let's see here. Let's just add this. Okay, and we can do the same thing over here, I guess. Add a repo. Say title. Add a repo. And here, add a repository. There. And then we don't need any of this now. Okay, we don't need the dialogue content either. So let's get rid of that. And down here, we don't need that. Okay, that's good. Let's see. I think it's going to complain about a description missing. Oh, maybe not. Okay. So, okay, so this is the new dialogue component, and it looks pretty much similar. And it's all encapsulated in that one dialogue component now. And now there there's things like that I was just doing a quick test, but basically um, we just need to pass in a few other props. But essentially, you get the same dialogue without having to add all those things. So that's a little nicer, and it will keep the UI consistent. So, anyways, that's a good way to wrap up. Let me go check on Twitch. Where are we at? Cool. Yeah, cool. All right. Yeah, I might be back tomorrow streaming again. It's Friday. Yeah, I'll probably do a stream tomorrow. We'll see. But anyways, yeah, we'll see you later, friends.